Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. If you like this content, give me the thumbs up button. Helps me out. I guess it does something with the algorithms. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Click the button. I give you guys a lot of useful information and a lot of financial education. So someone asked me, what are the chances of deflation? And there's a lot of YouTube videos that are, I'll say it, trying to scare people into clicking their videos. I don't prescribe to that, and they all do this open mouth crap on their thumbnails, and I just don't care about doing that stuff. So my opinion here on the inflation-deflation debate: deflation cannot happen. And if it does happen, it'll be very short-lived. It'll be very small. Because the system can't handle deflation. It won't work. So if deflation happens and it happens for a while, the system's done. That's my opinion. So what I pulled up here is the U.S. inflation rate since 1914. 1971 is when we went on the gold standard, or went off of the gold standard. So 1971 is right here. You can tell that we were massively cheating it before it because we have only inflation before it, and then they delinked it in 1971. From this point here, this was a housing boom, a residential real estate housing boom, and a very large demographic. The baby boomers came in and bought a whole bunch of homes. That money was then loaned into existence from the commercial banks through real estate into the hands of all the people. Since they were building, it was an expansion phase of real estate for the majority of that time, and a lot of new homes were built. So what do you think people did? They took out loans to buy those homes. Those loans grew and grew and grew because they're loaning against homes that didn't exist beforehand. So it's a growth in the money supply. That is where inflation comes from. Now our system right here, if you look at this chart, we have had a deflationary little blip for a very short period of time after 2008 crash. Now that deflation, that was a housing surplus. Massive housing boom in 2008. So what happened there was a huge surge of new homes came on the market, and then a huge surge of foreclosures also came on the market all at the same time. That was deflationary because house prices collapsed. And if commercial banks, the majority of that money that gets loaned into existence was not getting loaned into existence at anywhere near the rate that all of the destruction of those loans was happening in 08 and 09. So we also, during this baby boom from here in the 80s all the way to about now, we had a decline in the demographics. We had a decline between the baby boomers and the millennials, the Gen X generation. The Gen X generation, from a demographic standpoint, isn't as large population-wise as the baby boomers were before. So what you're going to see is a lower inflation rate between this group here, the baby boomers. This is all kind of Gen X-ish in here, and then the millennials, I think, are going to be just delayed a little bit, and they're all coming right now. We have a housing shortage of 4 million homes. We've got the millennials coming that are a larger population than the Gen X, and what you're going to see is, I think, you're going to see increased inflation. Now, the government shutting down for COVID did cause problems, but I think those problems are priced into the market. Now, if we were to see deflation, if deflation is coming, this is where you're going to see the indicators. You're going to see the 10-year yield drop. You're going to see that drop. You're going to see copper drop. You're going to see platinum drop. And you're going to see a lot of these commodities drop. That is telling you that deflation is coming. Now, if these are all going higher, if copper's going higher, platinum's going higher, if those are all going higher, you're going to see inflation, not deflation. And it's going to be increasing rates of inflation the faster those go up. Now, one weird thing that we're looking at is that oil demand is down quite a bit, but yet oil is still going higher. I think oil is going higher because it's accounting for the debasement of the currency and not so much the supply-demand fundamentals. So you're going to see people, well, why is oil going up? It's like, well, just look at the dollar. The dollar's going down. It's going up to stay flat. Now, here's something to think about. So we've got inflation here, and you can tell a little teeny blip in 14, 15 and a big blip in 08, 09. That was using their numbers. So they have to have inflation. They being the government, they being the Federal Reserve Bank. The currency cannot survive, and states cannot survive without inflation. The pensions that are coming up that are due, the debts of all these people, they're going to be inflated away, in my opinion. Deflation is going to collapse everything. So they can't have deflation. They will print as much money. They will start giving it out as much as they can. They will literally send checks to everyone. They will increase weekly unemployment. They will do whatever they can to maintain the power over this currency, as it's the reserve currency, and that's where all of their power and control comes from, is through the currency. So I don't think, if you're going to see deflation, it will be like very short-lived. And then they'll just print, and they will literally send out checks to everybody. That's my take. And then if you look at the states, if you look at all these other things, all the ramifications of people defaulting, it would just collapse everything. So I think that they will just send money out and continually to send it out. They're going to inflate their way out of the debts. They've done it in the past. The inflation rate really hasn't. We really haven't had much deflation since we went off the gold standard at all. So my bet, and what I'm seeing in the markets, the 10-year is going higher, copper's going higher, platinum's going higher, gold and silver in a resting period, but they're going to go higher. Oil's going higher, uranium's going higher. The 10-year and 30-year their yields are going higher, and the dollar's going down. That is all indications that we're going to have inflation, and that we are having inflation right now. So if you like this content, thumb up. I appreciate you guys listening. And if you like my channel, leave some comments and subscribe. This is Finding Value.